Okay. Well, welcome to the Compass Show. It's wonderful to be here, and finally in Minnesota, we have some warm weather. I had a senior the other day say, welcome spring, and I said, we're not saying welcome spring, we're saying welcome summer, because it's officially hot out there.
It is.
With that, I'd like to welcome a very special guest, Desiree. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Before we share where she works and what she's up to now, let's start way back a few years ago. And I say a few in my terminology. Where did you grow up?
I originally grew up in Clarkfield, Minnesota, which is about half an hour north of here in Marshall. My dad's worked here my whole life, so I'm very up and up with everything going on here, and I ended up going to college here. So I've been around the area for a very long time.
Okay.
And I've been around the healthcare field for a very long time. My mom works in Montevideo here, just about an hour from here. So.
Okay, so what do your mom and dad do? Your dad's in Marshall, I hear that.
My dad works here at the corn plant at ADM.
Okay.
He's worked here for probably almost 30 years.
Wow.
And my mom is the purchasing director at the Montevideo Hospital. And
Okay.
she's been there for 26 years. So
quite a long time.
Yeah.
Brothers, sisters?
I have 3 younger sisters.
Okay.
One of which is a year and a half younger than me. And then one is 17 and one is 13, I think.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
there's a bit of an age difference, 13 years between my youngest and I.
Okay, okay.
So.
That's always fun to have a younger one at home. You kind of keep tabs on what
Yeah.
the young people are into, right?
Realize how dramatic we were at that age.
And how life changes.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you said you've been working with those who are 55 and best since you were 16.
Yes.
What were you doing at 16?
My best friend had been working at an assisted living for a couple of years, and they wanted her to get her CNA, but she didn't want to do it alone, so she asked me to join her. So
Okay.
at 15, I did all the CNA classes, and the Clarkfield Nursing Home was hiring, so I applied, and I ended up there for 3.5 years, I think.
Okay.
And from there, when I came to college here, I did home care, hospice. I worked at the Big Stone Therapies Clinic for a year,
Oh, wow.
Complete Health Center for a year. I've done pretty much every field. I interned at the hospital in Montevideo.
Wow.
Both in administrative work. I got to be in the room for a few surgeries. And so,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Fun.
I've been through and back every healthcare field you can probably think of.
Wow.
So.
That's awesome that you really got to experience all those.
Yes.
I think it helps you to kind of sort out where you really want it to go.
For sure.
So you graduated from Clarkfield, or was it Monty?
No,
was it
I
combined or not?
No, Clarkfield closed down when I was in 6th grade, so
Okay.
we ended up getting brought to Granite Falls.
Okay,
And
okay.
then when the bus system opened up, I was able to go to Montevideo, which is where my mom worked, so
Okay.
it just worked out better for everyone. So I ended up not going to my senior year of high school and going to college back
sure.
in Granite.
Okay.
And then coming here to SMSU for college. So I've been kind of there and back, and a whole lot of people in a lot of different places. So.
I bet you do. So was there something in particular that brought you to SMSU, or?
I am definitely a homebody, especially with my younger sister being as young as she is. She
Okay.
was only, she was younger than 10,
Yeah.
when I started school and everything, and I wanted to be around for her, and my mom's my best friend, so
Yeah.
wanted to be around and be there for her. So
Right. Oh, awesome. So you attended SMSU, and you have a degree in?
management. I love the nursing field and everything. I respect them 100%, but I am definitely more of a meticulous paperwork and large picture versus
Okay.
the day-to-day
Okay.
stuff, and so I find myself being very helpful in those areas.
Okay. Are you speaking like business management?
Yes, business
Okay.
management.
Okay. Do you
Yep.
have an area that you kind of focused in on with having spent a lot of time in the healthcare field? Did you
I
kind of
didn't.
tweak in? Or?
I dabbled in the marketing. I dabbled in administration, in all of it, and I kind of just liked the broadness of being just management. I actually attempted to work in a financial field I think I made it for 5 months, and I said, nope, I miss healthcare, I miss the people, I miss the elderly, and I just wanted to go back to that. And so I took some time off before my wedding, and then as soon as I got married, I got right back into it. So.
Okay. And so what was your job before your current job? Where were you at?
Well, like I said, I tried to work in the financial field, so I was at U.S. Bank for about 5 months.
Right.
Before that, though, I was at Complete Health Center
Okay.
for a little over a year, and I was the front desk manager, receptionist
Yep.
person. So,
Right.
yep.
And I always think in that position, it's amazing. It has to be amazing what you see and what you learn.
Yes.
Because what I always find that area so interesting, especially in the healthcare field, because I probably see the flip side end of it, that someone comes into the center and says, here's my bill, will you explain it to me?
Yeah.
And you're going, oh, I can tell you what that is. Bing, 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 right?
Yep, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, you definitely learn to multitask. I would say that I could have 3 people on hold, 2 people in front of me, be working on something on the computer, and my brain somehow just figured it out.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I did it still to this day, but you definitely learn to explain things in a way that the person you're talking to is gonna be able to understand it. And I got to work with a lot of the doctors and the offices in town, a lot of the orthopedics
Sure.
places, not only in town but in Brookings and Sioux Falls and the cities and everything. I got to work with a lot of different people, and so
Right.
yeah, I definitely got a wide range of the different services that are available to everyone, whether they be younger or the seniors.
Right,
So.
right. All right, so we've kind of taken you through, you've got that, and we were just talking right before we came in that you got married on the Lyon County Fair weekend.
Yes.
So that's coming up.
Yeah, 1 year already. It seems pretty crazy, but I met my husband here in town, James Petrich. He's actually local. His family's been here since he was little, and I met him 5 years ago, and here we are.
Here
We've
you
almost
are,
been married
on your
for a
next
year,
journey,
so,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. So currently you're working at?
I work at Boulder Creek Assisted Living.
Okay.
It is the memory care and dementia facility here in Marshall.
Okay. And what made you go, I think I'm going to apply for that job? And the reason I ask that is I'm sure a lot of reviews are out there going, okay, dementia, stop.
Right.
Don't talk about it, but we are going to talk about it, so hold on.
Yeah, and it is kind of a taboo subject. I think people are just unaware of what it is, and it's scary for those who don't know or for those who are experiencing it, whether it be themselves or a loved one.
Right.
And it's, it's not a fast overnight process. It's a long going thing. And so as much as people want to not talk about it, it's something that definitely needs to be discussed. And the options are there. I mean, Marshall is amazing. The opportunities for people, not only with the providers that we have in town that are versed in it and they know what's going on, but the facilities that we have, whether it be to discuss options, support groups that we have that can talk with you about it.
Right.
But personally, what it was is I have never been one of those people who have been shied away by the term dementia or the concept of it. Like I said, I worked in a nursing home for 3 years, and so to me, it's very natural. And I won't say that it's a natural aging process, because it's not. It is a disease. But it takes a special kind of person to be able to work with that, and I feel very blessed to be one of those people.
Right.
And so to be able to give them those moments of joy and that quality of life that they may not have elsewhere is very special.
Right. And I hope you guys heard that. And I think that is so key with the people who work with those with dementia. She said she is one of those individuals, and there's very few in our world, but I do see them from time to time, and we definitely have them in Marshall, that are able to connect with those who have dementia and give them moments of joy. And that's what we want in this community. And she's one of our prized possessions here in Marshall. So I'm so thankful that you have taken that position. Let's talk a little bit about Boulder Creek. And I know that we have a couple facilities in town, but we're going to talk about Boulder Creek today. And I think there's some parts with when families are dealing with dementia, we hit on some of those, and we'll get to those maybe after this, some of the services that are available in Marshall. But what type of dementia clients can you take at Boulder Creek? Because I think that's another thing that's really misunderstood.
Absolutely. And so Boulder Estates, which is a very well-known term in Marshall. They've been here. They're coming up on their 20-year anniversary this
believe
year.
that.
I know, it's been a long time. But it's actually somewhat of an extension. It's owned by
Right.
the same people, the same amazing people who have this compassion, and they wanted to help that additional need in our community. And so it was built 4 years ago. I think we're coming up now. Yeah, and
Wow.
so I remember when it was being built and having no idea what it was.
Right.
And actually, when I applied for the job, like I said, I had taken some time off after my wedding, and I applied for the job just thinking, you know, it's the field I want to be in. It would be kind of a good stepping stone. It was actually for an administrative assistant position.
Right.
And on my way to the interview, they called me and they said, well, just kidding. It's for a management position. We've realized this is a need here. And do you still want to interview?
Yeah.
Immediately my stomach dropped and I'm like, well, I have no experience in management, but I have so much experience and so much passion, so I want to do this. So I went in and I interviewed and I ended up getting the job, and it has been kind of a whirlwind ever since.
Right.
It's the best thing that ever happened to me, and you know, they say if you find a job that you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
Right.
And I'm not kidding when I say that that is absolutely true. I have the best job in the world. I'm also the activities director at Boulder Creek, which is kind of a back term that I have, but I get to work with our amazing
Yes.
activities department and getting to do that with them every day. And so I get to experience this whole new level of, you know, being the manager, but also being on the back end. We are a small community of not only our
Right.
tenants, but our staff and who we're able to help, and so I get to experience all that.
Right.
And so and so on to who we are able to help.
Right.
It is an assisted living. It is not a nursing home. And so what that means essentially is that we can't necessarily do a couple of the things that a nursing home could do.
Right.
But in that, we get to allow for a really great quality of life in that they're still autonomous to do the things that they want. We have an outdoor courtart that during the nice months,
Yes.
which unfortunately this year kind of gotten shortened for us.
A little bit. Maybe fall will be longer.
But I mean, they can go outside. We have 2 different communities. There's no difference in the communities. They're
Right.
solely made for the purpose of the different things that we know about dementia.
Right.
And I can go into that more if you want.
Yep.
But so our tenants, they're all able to ambulate by themselves, and they all get to interact with each other, and we serve meals, and whether they like them or not, they're there for their disposal.
Yep.
And so we just have great activities. We have exercise every day and music at least 3 to 4 times a week. And
Right.
we do a craft club. We have a gardening club. We have, I mean, they love to color. And it amazes me because I still, at 25 years old, cannot color inside the lines for whatever reason. But I mean, they're
Maybe
just...
they can teach you something yet.
Exactly, yeah. It's just amazing, you know. You say the term dementia and they think, oh, well, they're not this person that they used to be, you know. Whatever it is that the stigma is behind this, or what the families are feeling, and
Right.
it's an ambiguous loss, you know.
Right.
They're still there,
Yep.
but the family is attempting to cope with, you know, figuring out
Losing them.
Yes, and
Yeah.
and figuring out, well, where do we go from here?
Right.
You know, do I attempt to keep them at home?
Right.
You know, and have it be detrimental to my own health?
Right.
And how long can I do that for?
Right.
Or you know, is it time to move on? And
Right.
those are all things that not only the support group here in town, or the facilities, or you at the Adult
Right.
Community Center, you know,
Right.
can talk with someone, but just being able to know that there's people there who understand that loss.
Right.
And that there are places that their quality of life doesn't have to be diminished. You know, they're on
Right.
this new phase and this new journey in life.
Right.
And so we get to experience that with them.
Right.
And we get to, you know, bring families in, and slowly but surely they all get to enjoy their loved one again, whether it be
Right.
a sibling or a parent or a spouse.
Right.
And they get to enjoy them in a new way.
Right. And I love how you say they get to experience them on their new journey. And I think that's a wonderful way to capture dementia, okay? They may not be the person they were, but if as a spouse or a family member, I love that line, experience them in the new journey they're in, figure out where that new journey is, and just enjoy the moments along that spectrum.
Yeah.
It'll be just wonderful. You talked about 2 communities. Now, there's only 1 building.
Correct.
So I'm wondering how many people out there are going, what, 2 communities? What are you talking about?
Right. And so whether you know anything about dementia or not, you'll know that they sometimes have anxieties when it comes to very large groups or too much going on at once.
Right.
And so Boulder Creek, when thought up, I was not part of the process, but from how I understand it, it was not meant to segregate anybody in any way. It wasn't meant to, early stage dementia versus late stage.
Right.
Absolutely not. We are all one loving community.
Right.
But we have 2 sides of the building so that during times when
Right.
it's time to wind down from the day or dining times or anything like that, even watching TV, so there's not too much going on.
Right.
There's just less anxiety, less pressure to
Right.
have to
Right.
be anything for anybody. They just get to enjoy their time. And 4 to 5 times during the day, we have scheduled activities. And so anyone from one side who likes that activity goes over there, and
Yeah.
we're joined. We're one
Yeah.
community.
You're one community,
Yeah.
yep. So really, the layout of the building was thought out to bring the biggest benefit to those who are there.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
that's wonderful. And I think that's something that's another point that maybe a lot of people don't think about with dementia is if you think that they're not completely functioning or processing what's coming at them.
Yep.
And then, like you said, we're trying to do it so we don't have the TV on and there's an activity going and there's a meal going, and then we're bringing them in and there's 20 people out here. I mean, think about that. If you can
Yeah.
only do half a thing at a time and you've got,
Yep.
30 things coming at you,
And then people,
you're going to be going,
us ourselves, and for
Yeah.
for someone who, like you said, can't process, as someone gets further along in dementia, our staff is 100% trained in dementia before they start working.
Right.
And we have not only monthly trainings, but also our community and our Tri County area has a wonderful dementia programs that are
Yeah.
put on. Redwood, I was just at one in Montevideo, Slayton, Marshall, I mean,
Yeah.
they're everywhere. And
Yep.
so we send our staff to those, whether it be nurses, myself, our activities staff, our aides. They go to these trainings and they say, there may not be a cure for dementia yet, but we're learning so much.
Right.
And by learning that, we're able to experience these new ways of giving them a better quality of life.
Right.
By, if there is a large group going on and someone gets stressed out, go on a walk with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's things like that. It's
Right.
just the different opportunities that we have to learn.
Right. And like you said, you're reaching them on a level that they can
That they're at.
communicate
Yes.
with you at, and you're bringing joy to their life and therefore joy to their family. And that is truly priceless. We talked a little bit about that. There's a lot of things in this community, and maybe we can touch on that. You said there's a support group. The support group meets?
So the Avera support group, and I believe it's at the Avera Cafe every Wednesday at 10 a.m.
Yep.
And so the people that are there, they're just amazing. I've learned so much from them. All the questions that they could ask me, I've learned just as much from them in
Right.
their experiences. And if someone feels they waited too long to do something, just them being able to give that experience to someone else so that they may not feel like they're alone in
Right.
the situation.
Right.
I mean, they're amazing. And even if you don't know someone with dementia,
Right.
and you just want to learn more about it, I mean, they're a great group of people. They serve coffee and muffins.
That's always good. But I think you really hit the nail on the head. Even if you don't know someone with dementia, the chances are you will.
Absolutely.
I mean, if
Chances
you
are
never
probably do.
cross anybody or have not known someone yet, you will.
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of a fact of life. So you have an opportunity to really learn about it. And in this community, we have a couple of ways for them to do that. We have Dementia Friends training,
Yes.
so you can take that. That can be valuable. For instance, hey, you could be out in a store and someone could be there with their loved one who has dementia. And maybe if you're just a dementia friend and they're in a anxious moment, you might be able to calm them.
Yep. I mean,
You know, it can be
church.
that simple. Church, yeah, wonderful
church
example.
is a large, and people with dementia, some realize, for a long period of time, they know that they have this, whether it's Alzheimer's or Lewy body or the many different kinds of dementia that there are. It's an umbrella term, but there's so many different kinds, and even learning a little bit more about that can help you be more empathetic and understand what's going on, whether it's happening to you specifically or whether you're speaking with someone who's being affected by it. And so by learning those things, you're really going to be able to help those in your community, whether it's like I said, the person themselves or their spouse or child or whoever it may be.
Definitely. So that's a wonderful opportunity for those who are dealing with it. And I guess I would also encourage, if there is children who they have a set of parents and one parent has it, there's a wonderful support system to come and learn from them, from those who've walked through it. What has worked, what hasn't. Will it work for you? Perhaps, perhaps not, but at least you're gaining a wealth of knowledge and probably some things you've never thought of.
Yeah.
So I think that's the greatest value of that support group. It's just the sharing of the knowledge they've gained along their journey.
Yeah, and the YMCA is wonderful too. They have a program. I think it usually runs for about 6 weeks.
Yep.
I've led a couple of them myself. Jamie Lanners, Rebecca Reynolds. We all take part in this. It's exercise and it's an outing where they get to do an activity, and I mean it gets them into the community and it allows people to understand a little bit better. And I would argue to say, you said children, and what came to my mind immediately was kids.
Right.
But obviously you meant older children who are dealing with it. But
Their parents,
I would absolutely say, I mean, we have kids coming in to Boulder Creek. I mean, we even have the ECFE, they come in and with infants and with the infants and the siblings of the infants, and you wouldn't believe the smile and the
connector.
Yeah, the kids, you may think, oh, but they'd be scared. They are not. They are just the most understanding little human beings,
Yes.
And I've had a little girl who played dolls with one of our dementia clients for 2 hours, and she was just in heaven. They both were.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing to see, the kids, they aren't afraid, and they shouldn't be. It's, it's something that I think they learn. Is to be afraid.
That no one wants to get dementia. And no, nobody wants to get dementia. No one wants to get cancer. No one wants to have a stroke. I mean, we could go down the list. So it's just another disease. But I love that you pointed out that as a child came in, she sat and played dolls with this one of your residents there for 2 hours. But what was it? It goes back to what you said at the beginning. Let's meet them on that journey with where they're at and bring them joy.
Yep.
There's a prime example. All what that lady wanted to do, she was probably back to her younger days where she played dolls. All what she wanted to do was play dolls.
Yeah.
And what's wrong with that? I mean, hey, if I could go play dolls for a while, I might just go and play dolls for,
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a bad thing. And just be there. And I think that's just such a valuable point, that if we can give you the best piece of advice, just be where those people with dementia are at.
Yep.
Don't say, do you remember?
Right.
Don't say, remember when they don't have that, so that's a frustration, but really just say, oh, hey, I was out, like I have an uncle who has dementia, and he fly radio-controlled airplanes. My sister and I went and visited him, and we knew how to reach him. We said, hey, I was out flying a radio-controlled airplane today. His eyes just opened up. He sat up in his chair. He goes, did you crash it? So we talked to him for like 2 hours. He just kept talking because we knew that was something he did. And we found that. We just kept going back. You find those moments where you reach them and you just really capitalize on them and take them in. So, so if you're out there and you have someone with dementia, know that in Marshall we have a support group. We have the second Fridays at the Y Memory Cafe, so that's a wonderful opportunity for them. And then we have a big event coming up, and let's touch on that real briefly. It is on June 21st, and why is it June 21st?
June 21st is the longest day of the year, which is also known, especially in the dementia community, as the Alzheimer's walk. They do activities, they do things, fundraising for the Alzheimer's Association. And so we here in Marshall have the opportunity to work a little bit more with that. So.
Yeah, wonderful. And I also think of it too when I think of the longest day and that we're doing it on the longest day. I think people so often forget that if you're a caregiver, and if you're a caregiver with dementia, you're a caregiver 24 hours a day. There is not like, okay, we got them to bed, it's nighttime. They may get up and wander. So, you know, it's a 24-hour-a-day job. And so, therefore, the longest day kind of makes sense with our walk.
Yes.
And so we're doing that on June 21st, and we're doing it at Independence Park, and the hours are?
From 4 to 7. And we will also have a Coke event there.
Right.
And so come out and join us. We're going to have booths set up. There's going to be a wealth of information in a very non-threatening environment that you can come. Kids are welcome, more than welcome. Bring, you know, if you know someone with dementia, allow them to come and experience it, allow them to enjoy it with you. There will be food there. It's going to be a really good time. I believe, is it 6 o'clock? We will be doing a reading of Grandpa and Lucy.
Grandpa and Lucy, yes.
And so that was a book written by a 9th grader, I believe, in the cities about her experience
with her grandpa.
With dementia, and her kind of learning about that. And even at such a young age, she was able to learn about it in a way that affected her. And so we'll be doing a reading of that, and there will also be a giveaway of those books, I want to say. So.
So it's going to be just a wonderful evening. So really come out. We'll have some facts posted. We're going to have some booths that'll be around the walking path. We have some wonderful resources in this town that I think a lot of people don't know about. We have a couple of housing units for dementia. We have Clarissa Dumdy. I always sorry Clarissa, I always mess up your name a little bit. She is on staff at Avera. She has a heart for those with dementia.
She's amazing.
She has a degree in gerontology and a real strong heart for those with dementia. So if you ever are beginning to deal with it, make an appointment with her. Just sit down and have a conversation. And she'll walk you through a lot of stuff that she knows from the medical community. It's just a huge, valuable asset that we have here in Marshall.
Absolutely.
And then we have so many people that are trained, and we also have the Dementia Awareness Network that meets the first Thursday of the month. So we have a lot of resources, and we really would hope that you tap in. But with that, our time is gone. So with that, Desiree, why don't you share Boulder Creek's phone number and how they can get a hold of you?
Yeah, sounds great. So Boulder Creek's phone number is 507-929-1234, and that'll put you in contact with myself. Tammy Gustafson is the director of our home care agency, Stepping Stone there. She's a great person to talk to if you need any additional information. And then it'll get you in touch with pretty much anyone you need to be in touch with, and we'd be happy to, whether it be discuss or set up a tour. Even if you're just curious and want to come tour the facility, I'd be happy to take you around. So.
And on a final note, I just remembered, they are getting a virtual tour of dementia. Everybody in this community, I don't care what your age is, should go through that virtual tour. It is something that will open your eyes and help you to understand what a day in the life of dementia may look like. And actually, it's like
8 minutes.
8 minutes of what a day in the life of dementia may look like. It will broaden your knowledge so much. So if you're looking at doing that, they're happy to have community members come through. So just give them a call. They don't quite have it set up yet, but you know, let her know if you're interested. Then as they get it, I'm sure they'll reach out to you.
We are actually going to be setting up a community day. Myself and one of our LPN nurses is getting very well versed in it, doing a lot of training as to how to debrief with people afterwards and such. So it's going to be a community day. We're going to invite all of you into our building to experience what we get to work with every day.
So Desiree, with that, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for having me.
It's been wonderful.